All right. So, first question, how did you get into gardening?
So I think growing up, I was always surrounded by plants. My mother had such a love of plants that I really didn't realize how much I had learned from her and how much I loved plants. And I think also because I always was that kid that was outdoors, so I loved nature.
Yeah.
So I was constantly outside, um, loving to going for walks. Just, I think that's why I've surrounded myself with nature now. It's because of something that has always been very dear to me.
Yeah, your inner child coming
Yes,
out.
yes, that's
I
right.
love that. How many years have you been gardening?
Oh my goodness. Oh, at least I'd say 30 years.
Wow,
Yeah,
that's awesome.
it's
Do you have any resources for helping to make your garden succeed, and where do you draw inspiration?
So I truly, over the years, my in-laws have been huge with vegetable gardening, and so they have truly been my inspiration for my vegetable garden now. And also because we do so much canning, growing it, there's something about when you grow something and you can it that you just absolutely love. But I also believe that just being interested in being in nature, but going to all the garden shows I have gone to. Amherstburg has done beautiful garden shows in the last several years, which I'm hoping will come back in the future. And that's where I draw so much inspiration from, just seeing other people's garden and seeing what they have in them. That truly is inspiring.
I love that. What's your favorite thing to grow and why?
I think my favorite thing are the hydrangeas. It's interesting because I've always have had a love for that flower. There was something that always, it was the colors, the way it looked, everything about it. And a few years ago, we went to Italy during the month of July, early July, and we have never been to Italy during that time. It's normally in August. Well, when we got there and we started to drive towards Genova, where I was born, they were everywhere.
Wow.
So it was that at that moment, like I made that connection that, oh my goodness,
Yeah.
no wonder I love them so much. It's because I feel like they're a part of me.
Yeah.
So you will see
Like
them
coming
all.
home.
Yes,
I love that.
yeah, you will see them all over my garden, and they're. I get so excited when they come out at Easter time
Yeah.
because then I'll have them all over my house and I'll give them as gifts to others.
Yeah.
And of course I get them from Anna's
Yeah.
because they're so beautiful. But yeah, that's what
I
you'll
love
see
that.
everywhere.
Yeah, I love you have a little like moth guy. He loves you. He will not leave you alone. Okay, what does gardening bring to your life?
Pure joy. Just um, truly during COVID was a very difficult time for everyone, and for me, knowing I had the space that I could go out here and work on my garden and just feel like it just has brought so much joy to me. Just and even I think a lot of it is because my husband and I love to entertain, so we love to have people over, and part of that is sharing our garden.
Yeah.
And also, I love it when I can. Because I grow so many things, I love sharing what I grow.
Yeah.
So that's another part of the joy in gardening. And I feel that um, it just there's something about sitting outside and listening to the birds and looking, watching the deer and the rabbits and everything that comes with being in nature is incredible. It just does so much for a person's psyche and for their soul. It's wonderful.
Yeah. Healing for sure.
Yes, yes.
What do you feel when you are gardening or sitting in your garden? I guess joy.
Yeah, yes,
Yeah.
absolutely. And I also feel like for me, I don't like to exercise,
Yeah.
but I love to garden. So
Yeah.
I feel that for me, that's my form of exercise is
You
gardening.
sweat for sure with this
Yes,
humidity.
yes, and especially when it comes to the vegetable garden and keeping that up and all the rest.
Yeah.
But it's something I look forward to.
Yeah.
And that's why for me it really is not work. And my husband is funny because he'll come home from work and he'll say to me, "Did you play in the mud today?" Because he thinks that's why I love it so much, is because when I was young I loved to make mud pies and all the rest. So
Yeah.
now that's his way of being funny about it. So
Yeah, I love that. How would you describe your garden style?
I think it's a little bit of everything. I think truly it's um, because we've tried to be respectful to what was here before, and try to keep as much as we can, because we know how important it is, especially because we back onto a farmer's field, and there's so much nature, so many different things that live out there, deers and all the rest, and I just feel that it was important to respect the land and to keep as much as we could, and that's exactly what we did.
Awesome. What is your favorite month and time of day in your garden?
Oh, that was a hard one because I truly I love all the seasons in my garden. I don't, even in the winter time when I can look out and I see it covered in a blanket of snow. It's to me it's just as beautiful as when it's in the spring and the summer. And I truly believe it's because it's how it makes you feel.
Yeah.
It brings a smile to your face when you look out and you see the first robin, or you see last summer when the farmer had planted all that corn and the blue jays were incredible. Like I've never seen anything like it. So I think for me, every season brings it's just beautiful. If you, because it brings me joy. So
Yeah.
yeah.
And do you have a favorite time, or like in terms of, a lot of people say they like the afternoon hour or like the golden hour. Do you have a favorite time out here, or you just whenever?
I like when I make a cup of coffee in the morning,
Yep.
and I come out first thing in the morning.
Nice.
And it's early. I'm an early riser,
Yep.
and I just love to take a walk with my coffee
Just
and
be
see
quiet and enjoy
see what's
it.
happening, see what the rabbits destroyed the night before, what party happened with
Yeah.
the deers trampling through the yard,
Yeah.
like all of that. But no, it is my favorite time. And then we do love the sunset. My husband and I love to sit at the dock and watch the sun go down.
Yeah.
But again, you're surrounded with so much. Like we have an eagle's nest that's way at the back over there. So there's an eagle that sits at the very
Wow.
tall tree next door.
That's cool.
And there's just we have ducks that come back every year and make a nest, and we always try to guess where that nest is going to be because she moves it every year. It's just things like that that are just very, very joyful. Very.
Yeah. And it's so cool if you think about, like, you know your yard and your house so well, and it's like the stories of these grounds are so,
Yes.
it's such a part of you. It's so cool to think
Absolutely.
about. Yeah, that's really wonderful. What inspires your choices when it comes to plants?
I think truly is when we see them. My husband and I have purchased plants over the years because we have either from a garden show or from seeing it at a park or at someone else's home, that we're like, wow, that's really beautiful. Wouldn't it be great to have it in our yard? So then that's like the smoke tree one that is near the pond came from us seeing that in someone's garden when we went through the garden show. So I think that's a part of it is when you see something. The magnolia is one that we planted in memory of my mother. So because my mother loved to garden, and there were so many times when I took her through Anna's that she just loved picking out plants and surrounding herself with plants. That it's nice. Certain plants trigger beautiful memories.
Yeah.
So
Absolutely. What dreams do you have for your garden?
Well, it's a big dream. We're hoping to add a sunroom where that will house a lot of my plants in the winter time. So that's the dream, is to add an addition to our home, which is going to be all windows, and it will be where we'll be surrounded by plants. Um, I would absolutely love that. That would be something that I would love to add to my garden.
Wonderful. What would you say is the thing you do best in your garden?
Um, that's a good question. I think for me, it's really taking care of the plants. It's I think just the harvest that I get. I think all the effort that I put into my vegetable garden, really, I reap the benefits come the fall.
Yeah.
So I feel that the amount of time that I spent really nourishing them and really is what helps them to grow, and why I get so much from my garden.
Yeah, and even your story about the corn. If you want to talk about that a little bit, just you were saying it didn't work the first year, so you did some research and
Absolutely.
Yeah.
So last summer we tried to grow corn, and it didn't happen. So my husband and I decided to do some research this year because I really wanted corn, and we found out that it's the Three Sisters that they use, where they put together the corn, the beans, and the squash, and that will help them to grow. And that's exactly what happened. Is that trial and error is so important, because it's just like the cucumbers this year that we've moved and are not doing well because they were where the corn was. So it's the same thing. You look at something and you say, okay, why didn't it work this year? And then you try it again next year. But I think that's the beauty of gardening, is that nobody ever judges you or anything. You just are, it's trial and error, and it's such a good feeling when things come up, like the corn this year. We were so happy that we actually saw that it worked.
Yeah, that's awesome. Now you said that you're a teacher.
Yes.
I'm curious, how do you incorporate any of your learning or your gardening into your job?
Absolutely.
Yeah, how so?
Well, I'm very lucky because I work at Dr. David Suzuki School, and it is an amazing building that has a rooftop garden, and it has so much space for children to be outdoors. And I do a garden with the children every year. Now, last year, because of COVID, we weren't able to start a garden. We had everything ready. I have 2 huge little greenhouses that the children put together, and they plant their seeds and all the rest. But what I did this year was I gave the children seeds, sunflower seeds, and they started their sunflowers at home. So all of the things that are left from my garden, I will take the entire bean plant off and with the roots and bring it into the classroom. And the children will take all the beans out and we'll keep them and we'll grow them in our classroom. We do the same with the sunflowers. I bring in the sunflowers and we do math with the sunflowers. So I would like to think that over the years, being at Suzuki, that I have played a role in some of those families starting gardens, because I try to instill a love of that in children at a young age. So my classroom indoors truly looks like the outdoors because there's so many plants and there's so many opportunities for children to learn about gardening, and they have a part in it all. Everything from weeding the garden to starting the plants indoors to transplanting them out into the garden. So gardening has played a huge role in my teaching career because I see so much learning, and I think if we start children off at a very young age, then they will carry that on.
For sure. I love it because it's like you're your inner child is so out. Like, you know what I mean? It's like your love for nature, you've consistently carried it into, you're an adult and you're doing everything that you love to do as a kid, and now you're passing it on to kids. It's so wonderful.
Thank you.
Yeah.
It is. And one of my dreams is when I do retire, I want to work at Anna's.
Yeah. You're hired.
For sure. I've said that for the last several years.
Yeah.
When I retire, I'm working at Anna's.
Yeah.
Doing something that I really love,
Yeah.
because I love teaching, but at the same time, that that part of being in a greenhouse and doing all of that.
For sure.
And I also want to go back to school and go to St. Clair to take learn about gardening, to
Yeah.
take their horticultural, just to further, because I feel like, you know,
There's
when
so
we
much to
retire, it's not an end, it's
Yeah.
a new. So my new chapter is going to be gardening and
Yeah.
working at Anna's.
Yeah.
I joke around about that all the time.
But you mean it.
Yes, because
Yeah.
one of my parents, Ann Kirst,
Yeah.
works at Anna's.
Oh.
So I
yeah.
taught both
Yeah.
her children.
Okay, we love Anne.
Oh,
Yeah.
I love Ann so
Yeah.
much.
She is the best.
She
yeah.
is.
She's full of life, that one.
She is.
Yeah.
She's wonderful, and she's a wonderful gardener. And
Yeah.
so I would love to work with Ann.
Yeah. Aw. Well, that's wonderful. I think that's it for questions. Unless
Okay.
you have anything you want to add.
No, I thank you. I'm glad my daughter pushed me to do this.
Yeah,
like
this is wonderful.
I again feel that I wasn't ready, and I think that's what I want to share with all gardeners, is that it's important just to share your story so that others will get inspiration from it. So
For sure.
thank you. You two both have been wonderful.
Yeah.